Now, this is quite a story from NASA because for the second time in history, a man-made object has left our solar system.
Faint signals had been whispering across the darkness of space for over 4 decades, a gentle cosmic heartbeat from one of humanity's most enduring achievements, Voyager 2. Launched in 1977, the spacecraft had slipped past the outer edges of the solar system and continued into interstellar space, becoming a silent envoy of Earth's distant past. For years, it sent data that defied expectations, measurements of magnetic fields, energetic particles, and plasma waves that told a story of the deep unknown. Scientists had grown used to the rhythm, a kind of routine interstellar pulse. But then, in a moment that stunned the world, the transmission stopped. No warning, no gradual decline, just silence. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. Voyager 2 had vanished from communication, not in a typical aging tech failure kind of way, but as though something had intercepted or halted its signal deliberately. The immediate assumption among engineers was a fault, maybe a slight adjustment error, a rotation out of alignment, or even a glitch in one of its aging systems. But initial checks showed nothing to explain the phenomenon. No scheduled maneuver had occurred, no command had been sent. The last data package it transmitted was fully intact with no sign of signal degradation. One moment, Earth was listening. The next, the spacecraft had gone dark. News spread rapidly, cutting through the usual background noise of daily events. For the public, Voyager 2 had long represented something pure and hopeful, a distant flicker of humanity's curiosity, persistence, and ambition. It wasn't just a spacecraft, it was a time capsule, a silent traveler bearing the sounds and images of Earth, drifting farther than anything human hands had ever touched. Its sudden silence felt almost symbolic, like a door slamming shut in the void. The timing was especially eerie. There had been no storms, no known threats, no natural cosmic disruptions that might account for it. Just sudden and complete radio silence. What made the situation more unsettling was that the loss wasn't from a system breakdown. Those had occurred before and been recovered from. This time, every parameter leading up to the signal loss appeared completely normal. Telemetry data showed a stable system. Power levels were within expected ranges. Instruments had continued collecting data. And then, nothing. The ground team tried resending commands, reconfiguring deep space antennas, recalibrating frequencies, even mimicking previous recovery protocols that had worked during minor outages in the past. Each effort returned the same response, an endless static void where Voyager 2's signal should have been. The possibility that something external had interrupted the signal began to creep into serious discussion. Normally, talk of interference beyond system error would be dismissed, relegated to conspiracy forums or science fiction daydreams. But this was Voyager 2, too far from any known object, planet, or field to be influenced by gravitational pull or collision debris. It was in interstellar space, a realm as lonely as it is vast. There should have been nothing, yet silence echoed. Speculation began to spiral, not just among the public, but within the scientific community itself. Had Voyager 2 encountered something unknown? A region of space where radio waves could not travel? A gravitational anomaly that could redirect or absorb signals? There were precedents in theory, of course, areas of intense magnetic flux, dense plasma fields, or phenomena yet to be discovered. But Voyager's instruments would have indicated such an encounter prior to silence. Instead, the final data dump gave no hints, no anomalies, no fluctuations, no warnings. It simply stopped. The implications of such a sudden loss went far beyond technological malfunction. Voyager 2 was more than a spacecraft. It was a probe into time and space, and its disappearance suggested a crack in our understanding of what exists beyond our solar system. The silence was deafening not just because a machine had stopped talking, but because it defied every expectation of what should happen in the vacuum of space. If a system as resilient and rigorously monitored as Voyager 2 could go silent without explanation, what did that say about the nature of the space it had entered? Panic wasn't the right word, but an electric unease rippled through sectors of astronomy, physics, and cosmology. Agencies recalculated trajectories, historical signal logs, and every interaction Voyager 2 had recorded since it crossed the heliopause. Teams scoured its last known location with every available tool: radio telescopes, infrared arrays, and deep space scans. Still, nothing returned. It was as though the craft had been swallowed, not just physically, but from reality. This opened doors to conversations long considered fringe. If there were regions of space where signals could vanish without trace, what else could be hidden there? Was Voyager 2's silence a form of contact, not with life, but with something else, some barrier, some structure, some yet unexplained layer of cosmic architecture. Had it brushed against the edge of something we could not see or understand? There was an unshakable sense that this wasn't just a technical failure. It wasn't about hardware. It felt personal. That sense was global, crossing languages, ideologies, and disciplines. Voyager 2 was built by people for people, a product of dreams, hopes, and generations of scientific thought. It carried music, greetings, images, and information that represented Earth's brightest cultural lights. Its silence felt like a rejection, or worse, an erasure. The fact that the transmission didn't degrade but simply stopped implied intention, even if the cause was completely natural. Media narratives ignited. Some leaned toward dramatic interpretations, suggesting Voyager 2 had entered a cloaked area of space, or crossed into the domain of another intelligence. Others stuck with known science, combing through decades of data to locate a pattern or weak link, but the more they searched, the more troubling the scenario became. Voyager 2 had been behaving perfectly. It had done everything it was designed to do. That's what made its sudden silence so terrifying. It wasn't the chaos of malfunction, it was the order of something calculated, something clean. This moment, Voyager 2's disappearance, triggered a philosophical awakening across communities. For many, it highlighted the fragile line between what we know and what we assume. For others, it emphasized how little control humanity truly has once its creations leave Earth. There's a deep vulnerability in flinging a piece of our civilization into the void and trusting it will continue to echo back our presence. When that echo ends, it leaves not just a technological void, but a human one. It's not just the machine that goes missing, it's the voice, the story, the heartbeat. Even more unsettling was the implication for future missions. If Voyager 2 could disappear without trace, what might happen to newer, more ambitious probes sent deeper into the cosmos? Could there be thresholds in space we don't yet understand? Barriers to perception, to communication, to movement? Were there natural dead zones that we hadn't yet encountered? The silence hinted at hidden dangers not of asteroids or radiation, but of laws or phenomena still beyond our comprehension. The sudden stop became more than an engineering mystery. It became a cultural event. Artists, philosophers, writers, and thinkers began to weigh in. Voyager 2's silence wasn't just an endpoint. It was a prompt, a question flung back at us. What is out there? Why did the voice stop now, after so long in such an eerily perfect way? Was it an accident of physics, or a boundary being enforced by the universe itself? In labs and observatories, work continued around the clock. Redundant systems were engaged. Comparisons were made with Voyager 1, which continued sending signals. The contrast was stark. If both had failed, the case might lean toward natural cause. But only Voyager 2 was silent. Only it had crossed that particular coordinate. Only it had vanished. The psychological impact was profound. Voyager 2 had been a thread connecting Earth to the stars. Its silence felt like a lost connection to a part of ourselves that reaches upward and outward. More than any telescope or calculation, Voyager 2 had been a physical symbol of hope, a proof that humanity, in its brief existence, could make something that lasts, that touches eternity. Now that thread had snapped, and no one knew why. There was no debris field, no energy spike, no sign of collision or corruption, just emptiness. This left the most disturbing possibility of all, that something out there was watching. Not a science fiction predator, but something entirely different. A system, a mechanism, a layer of reality structured in ways we cannot yet detect. Voyager 2's silence suggested not aggression, but boundary. It might not have been intercepted. It might have crossed a line. The implications rippled through policy as well. Space agencies began rethinking mission routes and communication protocols. Private space initiatives looked more cautiously at long-range probes. If Voyager 2's final moment couldn't be explained, then every assumption about deep space exploration had to be revisited. Confidence, once high, turned quietly into calculation. But it wasn't fear that gripped the world. It was awe, a kind of reverence. Voyager 2 had reached farther than any human-made object, and now it had vanished, leaving behind a mystery that pierced the veil of the known. The world paused not in terror, but in contemplation. The silence forced everyone to listen, not just to what had been lost, but to what might lie ahead. And in that stillness, the cosmos felt closer, yet more vast than ever before. Voyager 2's hidden transmission had not simply stopped, it had transformed, from a stream of data to a message in absence. Its silence echoed louder than any sound, not an ending, but a door, not a failure, but an invitation. An invisible point in space had answered back, Not with light, not with sound, but with silence. And that silence may be the most profound message of all. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on Voyager 2's hidden signal stopping? What happens next? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.